Happy December to you. In this video, and hopefully a couple of others, I'm going to be showing you a couple of really super simple Christmas crafts that you can do which look way more impressive than the skill actually involved in making them. So yes, in this first video, as you see, I'm showing you how to make a lovely little gift box. Well, this one isn't little actually, but you can make it whatever size you want. I'll tell you how. And yes, as you see, gift box on the side, two different colours here. We've got a big old paper poinsettia here and a tag, but that's just normal to have a tag so it has someone's name on it. So yes, and it's got a band like this. It's so easy to make. It is kind of, it does take a while because there's lots of little bits, but there's just no skill involved whatsoever. Nope, not a bit. So yes, all really simple on how to do. The box is, well, if you're a paper crafter, you probably know how to make one of these boxes, but I'm gonna show it in the video anyway because there will be people out there who don't know. The paper poinsettia does take a while because of all the little leaves and stuff. There will be a template or a cut file for silhouette users on my blog to download and use if you wish, but if you have a leaf die or something, that will work fine. So yes, here's one I made earlier using, where did I put it? Using the first edition Gift of Christmas premium paper pad, but I'm going to make one now. I'm just putting this down. I'm coming. Here we go. I'm going to make a slightly more modern one, exactly the same, but with the more greeny and purpley and white modern-y colours. So yes, let's get started. So for the box, for both the base and the lid, you will need two 12 by 12 sheets of card or cardstock, preferably not paper because it's going to be too flimsy. You want cardstock or card, as I said. So I've chosen two from that Merry Little Christmas paper pad. Obviously you don't have to use the first edition ones, but I like using the specialty ones. This is a glitter one and this is a textured one because they're even more sturdier than the other papers, so I prefer to use those, but as I said, you don't have to, but you do need two 12 by 12 bits of card. I should probably say at this point, it's been a while since I've done a tutorial, you'll have to forgive me. Items you will need: adhesive of your choice, scissors of your choice, and ideally a scoreboard. There is a way you can do it without a scoreboard, but it is much easier with, so yes. And then later on for the poinsettia, you're going to need one of these little burnishing or distressing tool kind of things. And what was the other thing? Oh, a hot glue gun. That's very, very important. But other than that, I think that's for the most part. There we go. Also a paper trimmer, but if you've got scissors, that's fine too. All right then, so decide which, sorry about that jangle, all around my desk is actually ridiculously messy. It's just piles of stuff like this. It may avalanche at some point, just to warn you. But yes, so decide which one you want as your base. I would like this one. And the base, you do not have to score. You do have to score it. You don't have to cut it at all. You just have to score it at 2 inches. That would help, inches. And then turn it 90 degrees. Score it again. Do it again. And then guess what? Do it again. There we go. There's that bit done. Next, you want to fold and burnish your score lines just so they're nice and foldy. And you fold them inwards, of, you know, which way you want your box to go. Obviously, using double-sided cardstock would be ideal for this because then, you know, it's double-sided, but the specialty papers in these paper packs are not double-sided, and I'd rather them be sturdy than double-sided, but the double-sided will work fine too. Now, just to explain very briefly for anyone who hasn't made a box like this before, I realise most of you have, but just in case, because it would annoy me if I was watching and I didn't know and the person didn't say. So if you want to make a bigger box or a smaller box, more likely to be a smaller box, as this is kind of one of the maximum sizes you can do with 12 by 12, is all you have to do is decide what size you want your base and what size you want your sides to be, and then just measure out. So say I wanted a 4" by 4" base and I wanted my sides to only be 1 inch high, then I would measure, well, 4 plus 1 plus 1 is 6. Cut a 6-inch bit of card and then just score at 1 inch each way there. It really is that simple. So as I said, you probably know, but just in case. So whatever measurement, there you go. You'll see how it is slightly different when we do the lid. Now, scissors are where? Found them. So next, I don't know how well you can see the score lines. I hope you can see them, but you want to cut the score lines on the inner side here, like this. If you want to do it a bit neater than that, that's cool too. And then like this and like this. It is just, it really is that easy, but you know, you never know what people don't know how to do, you know. So next, you want to be adding the adhesive, sticky stuff, whatever of your choice, to these bits that come in like this. So just stick it on. If I'm using double-sided tape, as I am now, I put it all down before I take the top. I am so out of practice with tutorials. It is just incredible how rubbish I am doing. My point is I'm going around like this in one before I take the backing off, just because I'm clumsy as hell, and the likelihood is if I take the backing off, like say the backing off was there, I'm gonna drop it, it's gonna stick to something, just yeah. So I'm just being overcautious in the knowledge of how clumsy I am. So that's all I'm doing, really. And now, as may be obvious, take the backing off. Right, backing off, we just assemble it. Now, one thing I do at this stage is when I've put one up like this, I'm not going to stick it too hard. I'm just sort of lightly pressing it. Just, as I just said before, I do everything in the knowledge that I'm likely to mess something up. So I want to be able to redo it should I need to. So if it's not stuck on too hard, it's quickly, you know, it's easy just to just pull off and redo it. But we've done okay. What I do here at this stage is just with my bone foldy scory thingy is just sort of pressed down here just to encourage the sticky stuff to be extra sticky and stay where it's supposed to. And there we could go. Right, one box base. Right, so base is made. Now it's lid time. Now the lid is basically exactly the same as doing the base. The only thing you have to keep in mind, so this one is an 8-inch square with 2-inch sides. The lid needs to be ever so slightly wider than the base, only by about 1/8 of an inch, no more than that, just so it actually slots on top nice and easy without making, you know, this fold in or anything. And also, you don't have to, but most people would like the sides of the lid to be shorter than the sides of the base so you can see some of the base. So yes, so mine is going to be 8 1/8 inch and then 1.5 inch sides. So to do that, you do have to do a little smidge bit of cutting. And get my trimmer here. So instead of a 12-inch piece of cardstock, you want an 11 1/8 piece of cardstock, and I've cut that wrong. Right, having to do a slight recalculation there because I totally messed up, and this is my last of this particular pattern of cardstock. So instead of 1.5 inch sides, we're going to have 1 inch sides. But if you wanted to do it slightly better than me, then you'd want 11 1/8 and then to score at 1.5 inches. But we're doing this on the fly. It's been a while since I've done a tutorial. I know I keep saying this. I'm just so out of practice. Right then, so as I said with this one, instead of scoring at 1.5 inches as planned, we're going to score at 1 inch. Because I am a raging numpty, tra-la-la-la-la. Oh, I forgot to say, for the people who don't have a scoreboard, what you do instead is measure, ooh, nails in the way, measure the line. So you measure the gap there, do your markers, draw a line, and then sort of fold over, put your ruler against the line and fold over it that way. That's what I used to do for many, many years before I got hold of a scoreboard. So yes, there we go. And then from this stage onward, it is exactly the same as before, except I've forgotten to fold the lines. It is a really good idea to do that, by the way. It's not something that you want to leave out because it just helps with the general assembly of the box. If you don't have one of these, use the edge of your scissors like that, to the edge of the handle, that is. So back to where we were. Cut these lines. I'll try and do a little better than I did last time. And then just assemble exactly the same as before. Put adhesive on there and assemble it. So I will do that, but I will speed it up because you've probably had enough of listening to me already. Slightly smaller than planned lid assembled, and because it's made slightly wider, it should fit on nice and easy like that. So there we go. So next we move on to the paper poinsettia decoration. Right, so here are all of my little poinsettia leaves. Well, I'd say leaves and petals, but that's what a poinsettia is. It's all leaves, but you know what I mean. So I've got the green ones from the base, and I've got sort of a white and off-white colours for the top, as it were. I can't get hold of those. And they're all in different sizes, and because I've done them on double-sided cardstock, it means I can use both sides. So you see what I've done with the other one. I've stuck with generally just the plain red and green, but just occasionally using the other side just to add a little bit of interest and stuff on there. So this next part is definitely the most long and arduous and boring kind of part of the whole thing. It's kind of best to do it in front of the TV or Netflix or listening to a podcast or whatever it is you like to do, because it's very repetitive and it's just the same thing over and over again. And you could, if you wanted, not do it at all. The reason I do it is to give it a more realistic look. I say realistic because it's made of paper. How real is it going to look? But you know what I mean. So I'm basically going to just sort of rough these little leaves up a little bit to make them, as I said, more realistic. Let's do this with a slightly bigger one. There we go. So what I'm going to do is score a line roughly down the middle of it. It really doesn't matter if it's not roughly. Wait, no. Doesn't matter if it's not directly in the middle. Goodness me. Oh, it's late. I'm sorry, guys. Then, with my little distressing tool, I'm just going to go around the edge, roughen up the edges just a little bit, and fold along that score line. And then this next part is the bit that takes the longest, really. And it's just sort of crinkling up the edges to kind of make the lines of each leaf petal thing. You see what I'm doing there? Just sort of folding them and smushing them together like this. And then, yeah, there we go. That's it, really. So it looks like that, and then it makes the leaf more of a cup shape like it is. And on some of them you can do it the opposite way, so they sort of fold over like that. You can do that as you put them on. We'll do that in a minute, but yes. So then do that exact same thing for all of these. I know it seems like a lot, but really it takes max. If you do it in stages, like do all the scoring and then do all the burnishing and then do all the folding, then 15 minutes if you get into the rhythm of it. And just to say, as I said before, templates for these leaves are going to be available on my blog. A cut file for silhouette users, a template for, you know, cutting by hand, old school style for people who don't have a silhouette. Alternatively, if you have a die cutter and you have a leaf die, then just go ahead and use that. Ideally, it's best to have different sizes of leaf, but really it's fine, you know, whatever. So I'm going to do that with all of these. and I'll speed some of it up and then, but not all of it because it'll be ages. But yes, and then I'll get back to you again. So that is all done. I did time myself. It did take me about 23 minutes, but I did get distracted by a couple of messages during, so who knows how long it actually took. So next is to assemble it. As you see, I've put the two different colours into piles, just makes life mildly easier. And then you're going to want a base. Ideally felt, really, I think is the best. I've just got felt. As you see, it's cut into a beautiful and perfect circle such as this. Seriously though, it really doesn't matter. It's a base, no one's gonna see it. I've just got it in a circle to give me a rough idea of what I'm doing. You can use a square or whatever really. And then all there is to do next is get glue gun happy with your leaves. I have a spare glue stick lying around as well, just because you get through quite a bit. So I'm putting quite a bit on each one just to be sure and whatnot. And yeah, just going around in circles. I'm going to dig out the bigger ones because obviously I want to put those down first. And yes, just going round, keep putting them down like so. That one's upside down, I've just realised. That doesn't matter, I will put another leaf on top of it, it won't be seen. So yes, I'm messing up so much now I'm doing it on camera. I did it like perfectly when I made the other box, the more traditional box, but this one I'm just messing up left, right and centre. But that's always the way, isn't it? Oh look, I already need a new glue stick in there. And gaps don't matter at this stage because you can always cover them up. So yeah, just keep going, really is the thing. And I put all of my green ones, oh dear, FML, green ones down first, and some sticking out more than others, so they'll be able to be seen under the other ones. Also, sticking mostly with one pattern and only having a few of this one. So I'm going to put that up there so it can be seen. Put that there. And yeah, so just going around over and over again. Keep going, just keep swimming, and there we go. It really, I'm sure if you're the kind of person who's really fussy about certain things, then by all means, like, figure out exactly where you want each one to go and all that. But as many of you well know, I am not that kind of person. So yes, I will disappear on you for now. I'll speed it up a bit and then come back to you once I've got all these leaves down. I forgot to say is that you don't want all the leaves curling up and inwards like this, because as you see at the moment it just kind of looks like a lily pad. So if with some of them you kind of fold them back on themselves like this, then it looks a little bit more like a poinsettia, because they're sort of foldy and some are up, some are down, that kind of thing. So yes, just wanted to say that. Back to speedy upness. again, just make little rearrangements and stuff to it however you want. I mean, the leaves are fairly sturdy, just don't overdo it really. Yeah, so yes, you can make any adjustments that you wish. And then to make it look like an actual poinsettia, you need to put something in the middle. So you can see with this one, I've put some gems in, and I'm going to do the same with this one, but because this is going to be a silvery purpley one, guess what? I'm using silver gems. I bet you're super surprised. So yes, very easy. Just do them in the same pattern. So 1 in the center and 5 around the edge. Do be careful when doing the gems and a hot glue gun, and try not to burn yourself. My fingers have got to the point that I can barely feel it if I get hot glue on them, but I'm sure other people might be able to feel it too. Saying that, the Hobbycraft one doesn't get too hot. I'd probably yell loudly if I used my proper industrial hot glue gun, but I haven't got any sticks for it, so we're not going to be using it. So yes, this is quite fiddly, this bit, if you haven't got nails. But there we go. You can tell the Hobbycraft one isn't that hot because you always get lots of these stringy bits everywhere. So if you're using the Hobbycraft glue gun or another cheap one, then you do have to go over it at the end and pick off all the little bits. So I'm just going to finish this bit off with gems and I'll be back with you. Right then, 1 paper poinsettia ready to go. And the next bit to do is to make the band itself. So, again, 12 by 12 paper. I realise this isn't 12 by 12, but I don't actually need that much, but I do need it to be at least 12 inches on one side. This is just a leftover something, but I want it to think it will, but I think it'll go well because it'll contrast nicely. Anyway, you want it 12 by whatever width you actually want it to be on the box. I'm going with 2.5 because I think that looked nicest, but you can go smaller, you can go wider. I wouldn't go much smaller than don't go smaller than 1.5, I would say, because you need to fit that on it really. So you've got your 2.5 by 12 or whatever you decided on, 2, 3, whatever. Flip them over and just attach them with a goodly amount of double-sided tape, perfectly measured, as you can see. I'm going to put 2 lots on there side by side, like so. Peel that off. I'm sorry, by the way, for the little cut on my thumb. It has appeared in the process of doing this video, and I put a plaster on, but I don't like plasters. It doesn't really need one. So line those up nice and straight and stick them together. Now comes my least favourite part. Now, I'm sure someone will be able to give you the exact scoring measurements, but I can't do numbers whatsoever, so I'm going to measure it out. So I know that I need this to be 8 1/8 inches wide, and then 2 up the side, and then enough to fold over the middle. So I'm going to mark just over, well, these are in 16ths, so I'm going to go just almost at 1/8, but not quite, and mark 0 and 8 at either side, then 2 inches, then 2 inches, and then these are the lines that I am going to score. Again, I'm sure you could do it in a way that works it out exactly without doing the marking, but I just can't be dealing with it really. I just can't. It confuses my very, very little brain. So I'm just lining up my pencil mark with one of the score lines, whichever one I so choose. And there we go. That doesn't look quite right. It might be easier if you actually drew the line rather than just do a little mark. But I'm trying to be swift for you guys, so there we go. Right, that's ready to go. To get that folded up, I wouldn't bother with the burnishing part. I just get it done. Just get the job done, you know. And then, if you locate your box, there it is. And hopefully that should measure up. which it does. So what I do is, well, firstly, for some reason I want that to be the other way around. I'm just gonna, I don't know why, don't ask me. I just feel like that's what needs to happen. So I'm just gonna mark where those two are gonna meet lightly with a pencil. I am hopeless, guys. I really, really am completely hopeless. And again, some double-sided tape, beautifully measured on there. I never know what to say to fill up these gaps. Once I've said what I'm doing, I don't know what to say to, yes. Anyways, oh, there's a little bit of double-sided tape. Just fold it back over on itself if you have that going on. And then line it up nice and straight and press it on. There we go. So I'm actually going to put this on here to, before I stick, can be a bit fiddly this stage. There we go. Sorry, I was probably massively out of shot then. Whoops. There we go. So that's going to go on like that. So hopefully you've left your glue gun on. Did I tell you to do that or not? I cannot remember. Plop in a good amount. Oh my goodness, I've run out and I haven't got another stick handy. Oh, for goodness sake. There we go. That's much better. So a half decent amount. Making sure that none of the glue is going to go on the actual box itself. And plop it on. There we go. Ta-da! And there we have it. A rather simple to make, yet rather impressive looking, I think anyways, looking Christmas gift box that you can put one or a bunch of presents in and give to somebody you love or somebody you just really want to impress. So yes, just one final thing, if you are using one-sided cardstock as I have, it's a good idea to line this with some like nice fancy tissue paper or something, just so they don't see a stark white colour. But yeah, so that's what I will be doing. Actually, to be fair, if I do it with double-sided card, I'll probably line it with tissue paper anyways, because it'll still look pretty. So there we go. There is the first of my little simple Christmas crafts. I will post another one next week, hopefully. And for now, thank you for watching. Remember to check the blog for the templates or cut files for the poinsettia. And other than that, there we go. Thanks again. Bye-bye.